Oh, hi. Welcome to part 24. Part 23 is in the members area. Cloud kernel or Cloud Ninja members can access it. If you have not yet subscribed, do so. It will help you with certifications. Let us look at this interesting question. Before I go ahead with the story, first let us understand some key concepts. What is Bigtable? It is a NoSQL database service and it provides high read and high write throughput at lowest latency. Low latency means very fast speed. Then we should understand visualizer metrics. If you want to understand usage patterns and identify potential performance issues with Spanner or Bigtable databases, use Key Visualizer. It gives you performance metrics, it gives you warning metrics. See, you have a pipeline. What is the pipeline doing? It is writing data. Where is it writing? To a cloud big table. You have a database. Consider this bucket as a database and you are writing. That means water is pouring inside the bucket. It is similar to writing. So this tap is actually writing. What this bucket is actually doing is storing. So the database is storing. So the tap, the water is falling. But if the water starts overflowing, you should come to know that now the water is going to overflow. Similarly, here they are saying, boss, right is happening, but I should automatically come to know that, hey, boss, now water will start overflowing. I need to close the tap, or I need to put a big bucket or big tank. So, which two actions will you take? See, first one says you use key visualizer metrics and increase the size of big table cluster when read pressure index is above 100. That means above 100 means what? The water already came out. Above 100 means bucket is full. Water already came out. So you have failed in life now, right? Because you were supposed to, like, if you're buying stocks or doing option trading, you have to get out before you encounter a big loss. Now, after loss, why will you create a solution that after loss you will get out? No, boss. That is not a solution. Similarly, B is also wrong because above 100 only they are going to take action. Like Israel, okay, Israel, they, unless 7th of October happened, they were not taking very strong actions against the enemies. Who are the enemies? Religious robots. They are the enemies. Religious robots can be belonging to whatever community. It does not matter. Robots are robots. So after 100%, once the water has flown down, no use. So let us try to implement any mechanism at 70%. You should have some yardstick. You see this is a yardstick, and when water level reaches 70% of threshold, that time it should say, hey boss, now water will start overflowing. So this is the solution. At 70% you should come to know. So at 70% of the max capacity, see, it will monitor the storage utilization. How will it monitor? It will use such yardstick. This one you see here, this one, it will use such yardstick and keep seeing, okay, did the level come to this point or not. The second thing is, because you have to choose two answers, second thing we would do is we would monitor the latency of write operations. That means how fast the water is flowing from this tap. Is it at full force or less or so on? So that needs to be monitored. And if it is 70% and water is flowing too fast, you will say, boss, now bucket will not serve the purpose. I need to put a tank. So we put a tank so that we can store more. The bucket storage is getting full, no? Now we will put a tank so that we can store more. So C is also correct. We want to choose two answers. Okay. Now E says that we will monitor read operations. When the question is talking about write, this guy is a nerd. He's saying I will monitor read. Okay. Read means water reverse. From the bucket, the water is going to the tap. Very ridiculous scenario. That is wrong. Read is not a problem here. Write is a problem. So let us lock option C and D. C is saying I will monitor the write operation so that if more water flows, I will increase my storage space. D says, boss, if 70% of threshold is passed, that the time I will alert and say, boss, replace the bucket with a tank. So part 23 is in the members area. So you will need all of those questions also. Now, what is Apache Beam? You have to understand. Open source. Apache means open source, nothing to do with Google Cloud alone. You can use this. Can you use this on AWS? Yes. Can you use this on Azure? Yes. Tomorrow, Junjunwala's launch their app. Can you use it with Junjunwala app? Yes. Why will you use it? Why? Because it gives you a unified model for executing data processing pipelines. Beauty works with batch processing, works with streaming real-time data also. So it works with data flow, it works with Glue, AWS Glue, it works with Apache Flink, it works with Apache Spark. But naturally it has to work with Apache products because this is from Apache. Next thing you need to know is what is BigQuery. It is a serverless data warehouse. BigQuery is a data warehouse. And PubSub we used in microservice kind of architecture, just like this question, where it is a messaging service. Messaging means from one place to the other, it will create a message queue. It will have consumer, producer, and it will send and receive messages. And this is a part of Apache Beam. Okay. Now, what is the story? The story is saying, see, I have one component, PubSub data. I'm getting the data from PubSub in the message, like a message I'm getting. In between, what I'm doing is I am having a static data. I'm doing a lookup. The static data is in BigQuery warehouse. I'm doing a lookup. Then I merge the data and I put it here in BigQuery data warehouse. So if this is the requirement, what job type should I use? What transforms should I use in the pipeline? I cannot use batch job because I'm talking about PubSub, which works with streaming data. So B, C, and D, all three are using streaming jobs. The one with side output, this is wrong because side output, if you want to put data in something more, like you see this data is coming in warehouse. If you want to also put it into one more target, then you have side output. Here there is no requirement such. So since we don't have that requirement, we will strike this out, side outputs and side outputs here also. These two, they have side outputs. We will strike this out. So we got so easy, right? We got our answer. Are we using side inputs? You see here, this guy here, this is a side input. What is a side input? You pause this, read it. What it says is if you have additional data sources, this is an additional data source. This is the primary data source. Okay, if you have additional data sources, you use it. So the other thing is PubSub IO and BigQuery IO. What are these? See, PubSub IO is a component of Apache Beam only, and it will allow you to read and write data from PubSub topics. And BigQuery IO, this will allow you to read and write to BigQuery. So we have to use this one because we have BigQuery in place, and we also have to use PubSub because we have this PubSub queues, message queues in place. Hence, option C, streaming job, PubSub IO, BigQuery IO, side inputs. This is the right answer. Now let us look at this next question here. Okay, I hope you are able to understand how we are decoding the options. It is very important to understand these. And while I am explaining, I am telling you the concepts. Even if you have not gone through any training, I'm giving you all the context. Okay, so you need not worry that I have not done advanced training and etc. This content will help you. So before I explain you this question, few keywords that you need to know. First is big table. What is big table? It is a petabyte scale NoSQL service, NoSQL. So this is similar to AWS DynamoDB. Then you need to know what is GCS. This is Google Cloud Storage. That is object storage. In AWS we have S3. Similarly here we have Google Cloud Storage to store objects, files, documents, anything. Next thing you need to know is live traffic app profile. See, live traffic is your real-time integration where you are getting high read, high writes. So that throughput you will get with high traffic live profile, a live traffic profile. And the next thing you need to know is batch analysis profile. So batch analysis profile, if you are doing analysis workload, no, like you're writing queries, you are scanning the database, to that you can use this for performance, recent usage of your analysis jobs, and so on. So what is the story? See, there are two elements to the story. That's why I have marked one. One says I have big table, I am getting lots of reads, and there are sorry, I'm getting lot of writes and there are reads also happening. I have a high write, high reads. That is scenario one. Plus it is saying, boss, also I have scenario two where I'm having a analytic job here and it will scan this entire database. Okay, I have two requirements. Now you are a crybaby. You say, boss, I have these both the requirements. I want very high reliability. I want to ensure both my scenario one, that is production application, and analytics workload scenario two are all reliable. In your team, who's reliable? In your current team, if you are in IT, if you are working in TCS, Infosys, Wipro, who is reliable? The guy who can work 16 hours a day, the guy who is always up to solve critical business problems when it is required. Okay, that person is highly reliable. This person, when you call him, this person never says I am sick. This person never falls ill for a week. Even for his marriage, he just takes 3 days leave and remaining 1 week he works from home, slogs. This guy is a reliable guy. He's a reliable Indian guy, Indian IT person guy. Okay, so that is the definition of reliability. In cloud also, don't want system which will go down. We want something which is always up and running. Imagine Netflix, if the system goes down, what will happen? All the customers will move to Amazon Prime or they will move to Disney Hotstar. Okay, why? Simple, boss. Your customers, they have a attention span of a kid. Okay, they slowly their IQ is going down, and then slowly after 5 years, 10 years, their IQ will be lower than their kids' IQ also. The way they behave nowadays, and their eyesight will also be gone because whole day they are on mobile watching. Even housewives eyesight will go first. They are a whole day on Instagram and so on. Okay, so that is point one. And second is after 20 years, when the time to die comes, you will realize that hey, I didn't make much contributions to the society, to my family, and those things. That is an additional pressure which will come after 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, depending upon how young you are, and depending upon how long you live. Plus, in between, you will have to deal with religious robots also. Somebody can, screw your happiness, screw the country itself, whatever. So you have to be aware of that also. Okay, because that way you are not 30, 40 years away from your time to leave the earth. You can be just 1 week, 1 month, 1 year away. Okay, so very cautious. We all have to be, not only for India, any country. So if we look at option A says that you export the big table dump to GCS, Google Cloud Storage. That means here you see this place here, you create one more layer and make it like this. You have Google Cloud Storage, so export and fire your queries there, so that you are isolating two different systems. So see, this is not required. The reason for that is, will it work? It can work, but then you will always have to sync this to here, and that sync will take time, and that sync will put additional load on this guy here. This scenario is like, you have a very reliable guy, big table is a very reliable guy, and then you say, hey, you know what, we have one beautiful lady, she joined from a very good college, and uh, whatever work she is doing, uh, you will have to get through her, and etc. So then you are saying you will do the work, it will then go to GCS, then she will then give it to the client. Okay, so this layer, it becomes the team lead layer, or so on, something of that sort. Okay, so we don't need that. Okay, that we will need only if you are in TCS, Infosys, Wipro, whatever those IT vendors. uh, in very innovative companies like Tesla, BMW, etc., we don't need this layer itself. So we will just eliminate that layer, and believe me, man, it gives me such happiness to strike away option A. Okay, because we don't want to create redundancy, we don't want to create duplication. Okay, second thing I want to strike out is option D: increase the size of existing cluster twice. Who told you twice? Why it cannot be three times? Why it cannot be five times? Who told you that only twice, if you do, it will work? Nobody, right? It is a stupid solution. Now, out of B and C, we have to choose one. A lot of time I've seen the web, and there is always a confusion between B and C. Okay. Now, I am a human being. I'm trying to give you justification. Now, if you think this is wrong, please put in your comments with your justification. I am perfectly willing to get corrected. I don't have any issues, because I am not a Superman that whatever I am saying is correct. I am going to give you answer. I'm going to give you explanation. If you don't buy it, if you have a reason, please drop in your comments. So option C, we will see. See, option C, what they are saying is, we will add an additional cluster, which is fine. You see this big table. We will add one more cluster. Okay, we'll add this one more, which is fine. And then we are saying, we'll add we will add a cluster to existing instance with a single cluster routing. So what is single cluster routing? It's a routing policy that directs all requests to a single cluster in a big table instance. And this means all reads and writes for all applications that use the instance are handled through the same cluster. So is this guy reliable? See, in your project, if you have dependency only on one guy, and if he or she falls ill, then what will happen? You are screwed up. Your system will go down. So that is not reliability. You are a bad project manager if in your team you have few people who are key people, and who are kind of owning that application knowledge. They are the knowledge workers. Then you have done a bad work as a project manager. Why I'm saying this? Because the question says you need to ensure both the reliability of your production application as well as analytical application. That means everything should be reliable. So single cluster routing, I don't think it will add any reliability, but multi-cluster routing, this will add reliability. uh, because see, what happens here is, it will allow you to route the traffic to multiple big table clusters. So this will improve your performance, this will improve your availability, this will manage the workloads. So this is my justification, but open to comment. So my basic justification is, I cannot rely on a single cluster, because reliability goes for a toss if the single cluster goes down. Your application goes down that time. So I will choose option B. So you can subscribe to this channel. It will help you with AWS, Azure, Google Cloud certifications, and we try to clear the concepts. Concepts are important, uh, and with as many questions you can practice, that is better. So today we have India, South Africa World Cup semis. Wish India all the best. So this brings us to the end of part 24. By the way, part 23 is in the members area. Cloud kernel or Cloud Ninja members can access it. You will need both paid content and free content to pass the certification, because what happens is the more you practice, the more scenarios you go through, the tougher your mindset, you would toughen your mindset. This certification is not a easy certification. You need concepts. Okay. But the moment you get certified on this certification, it will, you add it to your CV, it will command respect. People will hire you for these kind of jobs. It will make your life easy clearing interview in this domain. Okay. So if you are looking to switch from mainframes to Google Cloud or any cloud, so these certifications will help. Second, if you are, people say I am already AWS certified, why should I go for Google? It will help you, because AWS, even though it is a market leader, there are a lot of clients who are on GCP. There are a lot of clients, they have a multi-cloud strategy. That means they will have AWS, they will have GCP, they will have some kind of data sharing happening between AWS and GCP also. So certifications and your knowledge on different cloud platforms will help you in the long run. At least if you want to get matured and become an architect, you should definitely do it. People who are recently out of college, they should also do it, because this will get them on a route to advanced topics. So this brings us to the end of part 24. See you in the next part.